Hi there, beautiful souls watching. Thank you. I'm Gabrielle, retired medium in Germany, and I like to share some of my otherworldly experiences and insights. So, this one is about the healing word. And word does not have to be words with meaning. Words is also in Latin and Greek like logos, the word for sound. And as the Indians say, nada Brahma, everything is sound, the world is sound. I did not know anything about that. When I was at my mediumship trainment, it was for 1.5 years with workshops and seminaries and some time in between to digest and stomach everything you encountered and you learned. Firstly, I was very impatient because I thought by myself, why can't I do everything one after the other? And why does it have to be 1.5 years with all this space in between and the time in between? After 2 or 3 seminaries, I started to understand I have to integrate that all. And there was one thing that I observed and I noticed my reaction towards it, because in a seminary with 70 interested people, participants in that theme, learning how to use your psychic senses, the mediumship trainment. Well, we were in a little hotel out in the green in southern Germany, quite lovely. And you talked with all the people in the coffee breaks, and you made some friends, and you exchanged experiences. But it always was like that in the morning when I came down from my hotel room to the breakfast room, and my teachers, that were a couple, a she and a he, and I always felt more drawn to the she part of them. They were sitting on a table eating their breakfast and already surrounded by a lot of people from the seminary who were just eager to sit near them and talk to them or hang on their lips. And I found that a bit disgusting. And I thought by myself, well, I would like to sit there as well, but then I had to think, wow, but I wouldn't even know what to say, The normal small talk, the blah, 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 wasn't that interesting to me. And I felt I do not have to say something worthwhile. So I was quite okay with sitting apart on another table with some others who did not found a space or a place near the teacher. So that happened for several seminaries and very often. And I got accustomed to that, and I was not judging the other ones clinging to the teachers, but I still observed it and noticed it, how people feel so drawn and just occupy the teacher so that no one else can reach them. But it's up to you what you do, So they also trained us because they were musicians before they kind of fell into mediumship and brought the English tradition system to Germany and kind of constructed their way in these several workshops that you had to assist. And it was like that they trained us to be on stage, like the English tradition gives public demonstration of mediumship. So you have to learn to manage the stage. And that is speaking in public for many people, the horror per se. I never thought about that, but one day I was called onto the stage in the evening. The evening event was always 5 or 6 people on stage, which my teachers sorted out. But luckily, the public was all the people you already knew from the workshop and you had talks with and chit-chat in the coffee breaks. So it wasn't a total of people you don't know and that might be aggressive or very contra to the theme. So they were all open-minded and willing and kind of keen on getting a message from someone on the stage. And it was quite good that we were with several and not only one person, so you can't get into the ego trap. Oh, it's me, I'm giving the message. No, it's coming through you if you're open and prepared and know how to connect with energies or deceased loved ones, which is the main subject of the English tradition mediumship. So I had been on stage the evening before and I was a bit nervous thinking, whoa, what happens if I don't get anything or if I don't know where to go with? Because you have 4 or 5 rows of people and the deceased loved ones direct you. Last row, the one with the red shirt or something like that. You get that and then you know where to go to. And of course, my teachers also trained us not just to, spit out what you get as a message and kind of slap it into the face of the one who's meant to get the message. They trained us to work with questions because questions open and statements might close and even cause the defense reaction. So you're trained to ask, can it be that you have a special relationship or had with your grandma? I'm seeing behind you a person that looks like that, and then you describe and you always ask for the feedback because you need the answer of the person. Doesn't matter whether it's a yes or a no, the sound of their voice connects the energies, and the sound of the voice is frequency. Like Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. So I was on stage with 5 or 6 other people, but I tried to relax and said to myself, well, even if I don't get anything, there are 5 others, so it doesn't matter. And that's exactly why my teachers arranged it that way, to not put too much pressure onto a single one. So that was kind of a very good idea, and I understood it afterwards. And I noticed when I was on stage, I noticed myself when I got my first contact that my phrasing, my language changed. It was much more poetic and usually I don't speak like that. So that's the first criteria to see that you really have a contact, because the wording, the phrasing, the language is changing. Sometimes even the voice is changing. Not always. And I remember that after that, my she teacher took me aside and said, wow, you had a wonderful language. Reminded me very much of Shakespeare because it was so poetic. And I thought, wow, that's nice to get some praise from her. And I had noticed that myself. So next morning I was out of the usual order because I'm a night owl and not the early bird. But I fell out of bed very early, so I went to the breakfast room and I was more or less the first and the only one in there. So I just picked a table, got me a cup of tea and something to eat, and I was sitting there all alone and started having my breakfast. Then suddenly my teacher, the sheet teacher, came in and she sat right beside me, which had never happened before. And I got stressed out thinking, ooh, what to say? And I did not want to get into that now play very smart and say something intelligent or things like that. You know, that's all ego. And I followed my favorite Chinese wise Lao Tse, who said in his little book, Wu Wei, The Art of Not Doing, which is not the same as doing nothing. I followed his advice: if you don't know what to do, then don't do. Don't do anything. And I just sat there. I said good morning, like she said, and then I was quiet because I didn't know what to say, and I did not want to be ridiculous and start the small talk, blah, 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 which I don't like. And obviously she wasn't in the kind of mood to talk, and she was silent and calm as well, sat beside me, got her coffee and her breakfast, and we were just silently sitting next to each other. And then suddenly, in a moment where I never would have expected something, she turned towards me, looked at me and said, "Have you ever thought about the healing word?" And I looked at her and said, "No, but now I will. Sounds interesting." And that was all. That was the whole conversation. I did not know what to say afterwards, but I felt that was kind of a message and important for me. And later on, it turned out that I got in kind of a rush when I practiced, connecting with my inspiration angel. I got kind of a theater play that reminded me a little bit of the Fae energy, and it was from the Fae because they showed up after the deceased loved ones, and I know the Fae energy now. And they are very poetic, and it was a little bit like Shakespeare's Summer Night Dream, only a little bit different in the setting. What I got was more like a play wherein you had a lone throne on the stage, and you could call someone from the public to take the seat on the throne and interact. So that was very interesting to me, and our teachers always furthered all these creative activities. If somebody found out during his mediumship trainment he's got a talent for comedy, then he was asked, or she was asked, to show something from that talent on the stage. So there was always one evening with kind of freestyle, whatever comes along, and you could show whatever you found in your big bag of talents. And I once, with two others, managed to show this little theater play that was inspired by the Fae. And after that, again, my she teacher took me aside and said, "Wow, that's very Shakespearean and Fae energy and wonderful poetic language." So I heard that quite often, and I got used to that, and I really love the Fae. I never had negative experiences with them. It is really, like the vernacular says, what you put out, you get back. How you kind of shout into the forest, that's the kind of energy that you get back. And if you come close to the Fae with respect and positive, open-minded, open-hearted attitude, that's what you send out as your frequency, and on the same frequency they will answer. So if you put out negative things, like in some fairy or children books they are depicted as mean and nasty, well, if you think like that, you attract exactly that, and you will get that kind of encounter. I never had that. I love the Fae, and I know they love me as well. And I'm very grateful and thankful to them that they accepted me. I even once said out loud in my living room, I want to learn from you. Because I understood that they are much older than humanity, than the human race, and that they know much more than we do, and you can learn from them a lot. So that to the healing word, and many people, not only here on my channel, like some viewers wrote, they love my calming, soothing voice. Well, I don't like my own voice if I hear it recorded, because it sounds very strange to me. That's a special thing. Everybody, I think everybody knows that. You don't hear yourself the same way like the others hear you outside. So I know now that there is a special vibration maybe in my voice, and that is to me more the healing sound than the healing word, and I love to experiment with that. And I also came into painting some healing pictures, and even architecture, which is to me like frozen sound, especially if you think of the cathedrals in Europe, how they are built, all these fine structures. And when our teachers confronted us with some of the Tibetan tankas with the paintings on them, the how are they called? I'm missing the word, sorry, but you know what I mean. These are kind of geometrical forms that they use, and in the temples in Asia, they even construct them with the powder from flowers, and it looks so beautiful and takes hours and days to create these paintings. So with some time, I understood that paintings are kind of frozen light, and you can, if you remember the experiment to split up white light in physics through a prism, you create the rainbow colors. So the colors are light, and colors are also sound and vibration. And I remember when I was young and at some party, there, of course, some people were trying marijuana, and they were, they were smoking weed, cigarettes and joints. And I remember, we'll never forget that, there was this one guy, and he was totally out, and he was lying on the floor right in front of the speakers. And he was kind of like a child, saying, wow, I can see the notes and the tones of the music, and they are like transparent balls, like orbs maybe, and they have colors. Every note has its own color. And now it makes sense to me that our whole chakra system with the 7 rainbow colors, and every color is a special vibration. So healing sound is not only words that you speak. It can be the vibration of your voice. It can be in a picture, because pictures are frozen light and frozen vibration. It can even be in architecture or in the Tibetan yantras and all the sacred geometry, because they also are kind of frozen sound. So that's what I wanted to share today, and I leave you with that. The world is sound, nada Brahma. Love and light, beautiful souls, for all of you and onto your soul path. Blessings, love and light. Bye.